first Loose Women of the week. We're helping me, Andrea McLean, brighten up your lunchtime, are Colleen Nolan, Jane McDonald and Carol McGiffin. Now, in a landmark ruling by 3 appealed court judges, a woman who became pregnant on a one-night stand has won the right to keep the existence of the baby a secret from the father. The 19-year-old had applied to have the baby adopted without informing her parents or the father, but this was rejected by the county court, and on appeal, it was ruled that the dad had no rights over the child. Now, Carol, in these circumstances, you know, in the ones that I've listed just there, do you think this is fair?
No, actually, I don't. The thing is, I do think there's something not quite right about this ruling. Now, if, you know, the girl's 19, remember, she's young. Now, if she had had unprotected sex with somebody and she'd got pregnant and she'd decided to have an abortion, then I defend that right of hers. That is her right. Also, if she decided to keep the child, I would have thought, yeah, maybe she still has a right to keep it secret from the father. But if she's giving it up for adoption because she doesn't want it, then I think there's something not quite right about the court saying, well, actually, well, nobody else has the right to have, like, first refusal of the child because it has a biological father somewhere who doesn't even know that it exists. And, OK, I accept that we don't know what she knows and she might not be telling the whole truth. But just to say, oh, we had a one-night stand and we were both on the rebound, it's not a good enough reason to tell him that I've got a child and I'm going to give it up for adoption. I don't think that's quite right, somehow. I think it's wrong, and it's also setting a precedent in the court. So, you know, it could happen again. And it's almost like, you know, let's go for the adoption route first, rather than, you know, try to say to the father or the girl's parents, because she's only 19, what if she changes her mind?
And I accept the fact that she doesn't feel ready to look after a baby, and that's absolutely fine, but not to give the child some kind of, you know, maybe her parents would love to adopt it, but she won't even let them do that. She hasn't even told them about it, you know, or the father. And surely, you know, she doesn't know that the father wants, OK, well, I'll take responsibility, or her parents, and therefore the child will know some of its, you know, yeah, absolutely. But to actually send the child away, it's like there's just no thought for that child. It's like, I don't want you, and I don't want anyone to know anything about you. Well, what about when the child gets to 18 and wants to know, or medical issues that it wants to know, and it will never know?
I personally think she's been extremely sensible. I think she's thought, I am too young to have this baby. It was a one-night stand. When you have a one-night stand, you're not thinking, I'm going to make a baby and get married to this guy. I think she's thought, I don't want to look after it. She's probably got a family who don't want to look after it as well. He's in a relationship that she doesn't want to split up. She's given now this wonderful gift to a couple who are desperate to have a baby. I think she's done exactly what she's done.
The sensible thing would have been to use contraception and not get in this situation in the first place. So she's not sensible, is she?
But mistakes happen, and I think she's been absolutely...
And also she's thinking of everyone apart from the child.
Look at the number of mistakes. Oh, she's had unprotected sex. She kind of didn't realise that she was pregnant until it's too late to have an abortion. And then, you know, or she decides to have it adopted.
And also, we're making presumptions that her family don't want the baby. We don't actually know that that's not the case. I mean, as you said, maybe her parents would want to be natural grandparents.
They haven't been offered. They haven't been asked. And usually that is the case.
But in this case, we're making presumptions that they might not want to. Now, we touched on it there. What about the child's right? I mean, at the moment, if the child doesn't know its background, as Jane said, maybe that could be a good thing. It'll be raised in an environment where it's wanted and very much loved, rather than perhaps being raised in an environment where it'll find out as it gets older that the mother didn't necessarily want it.
Yeah, but no one's against adoption. But in this situation...
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the right of the child.
Yeah, well, exactly, the right of the child. Surely the rights of the child should come first. And it isn't the right of the child to have, you know, the right to be brought up by its immediate family, rather than, you know... And I'm not saying... They will be a couple of strangers. They will be complete strangers to the family, and they will actually adopt that child.
Mum and Dad.
No, absolutely, and it will grow up in a... I'm not denying that it won't grow up in a, hopefully, a beautiful, loving relationship with what will be its mum and dad. But when it's older and it wants to know, I think it will be a shocking fact for it to find out, well, my mum didn't want me, obviously, and my father doesn't know. I don't even know who my father is, and nobody knows because she hasn't told anybody who the father is, so he can never be traced.
There's a lot of adopted children out there who are very grateful for being adopted.
But you don't know that the dad wouldn't be thrilled and go, well, I will bring up our child. She hasn't given him that choice. If she gave him that choice and he said, no, I don't want to know either, then fine, both sign the papers and give the child up for adoption. But not to give him that choice is selfish because he might want to bring his own child up.
And also we have to bear in mind that, as Carol said, it has now set a precedent. So, you know, we'll have to watch and see what happens from here. Us ladies are well known for having something to say on almost any subject, but our next guest certainly puts us in the shade when it comes to speaking our mind. A radio stalwart of over 30 years. He's just put pen to paper to tell his remarkable life story, covering everything from life as a spy, death threats as a result of his outspoken views, and his battle with cancer. Please welcome the original Motormouth, James Whale.
How are you? Good to see you. Hey, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
How are you? How are
Very
you?
well.
I'm good.
Nice
Haven't
to
seen
see
you
you.
for ages.
Long time.
Long time.
That's right.
You're
Used to
looking
work
younger.
together.
I'm looking older. Haven't seen you for even longer.
I know.
How come women get younger and men get older?
We add more hair.
Really?
Makeup and false hair.
That's what it is.
Is that false hair?
It is.
Do you think I would suit a hairpiece or not?
Yeah.
You think I would?
I like
on
men
men,
to look
does
like
it?
men. I like
I
that
do.
shaved off look. I think that looks great.
Well, you can't. I have no choice.
Shave off the rest.
Yeah, exactly. I might as well shave. But
But you've never had it though, so you'd look weird with it now, wouldn't
Hair?
you?
No, I haven't, no.
So you know that's
would,
just.
wouldn't I?
You would.
Yeah. Although we met years and years ago, and I had more hair then.
Yes, you did.
I had little curly bits at the back.
And I've never met you before. and
We've
I
never
think
met.
You look very handsome. And you
Thank you
also
very
look like a
much.
man who spends a lot of time getting ready.
I spend a lot of time.
Well,
I
an
do.
hour and 12?
Well, Mrs. Whale will probably say I spend far too much time getting ready, but you know, you have to work with what you've got, don't you, really?
Yes.
Now, I know I look as if I come out of the Jeremy Clarkson school of fashion, but
No, you don't
I was
actually.
brought up like that.
You've got really good shoes on, and you've got you
Do I
do
look
look like you've made an effort.
You look very well assembled.
I have made
So
an
do you
effort.
take longer than your wife to get ready?
Not really, but I mean, there's an argument beforehand, you know, who's wearing what, and there's nothing worse. You've seen the couples who go out in anoraks, haven't you? Matching anoraks. We don't do matching anoraks, so yeah, even down to the colour. So if I was wearing blue jeans, I would have to change them if she wanted to wear blue jeans.
Oh, really?
She wouldn't have to
Jeans?
change. Yeah, well, absolutely. We can't
Jeans
go
are
in.
jeans.
Well, they're not, are they? You know that. You've got blue jeans
I've got
on.
jeans,
You've
yeah.
got black. You've got black. You've got black. I've got blue. They're all
So
different
have I got to go and
colours.
change now then?
No, it's okay because nobody can see, but I think if we were going out, you would certainly have to change. And if I was wearing an orange shirt, you'd be a bit annoyed, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't. Doesn't bother me. But what about when you're on the radio? You're a radio man. Do you dress up to go on the radio? Because some people do, don't they?
Well, you know full well the answer to that question, and the answer is no. But sometimes it does make you feel better. Funnily enough, sometimes if you're working and you're dressed up, and you do feel a lot better.
It gives you a lot more confidence.
It does.
Definitely.
It does.
Although you're not a man who strikes me as lacking in confidence, James. Even having never met you before, I've seen you and heard you.
I don't lack...
You've got your book out now.
Yeah.
It's
Show
James
them the
Whale.
cover. It's very nice.
Almost-
And can you feel it? Because it's slightly ribbed.
Oh.
Yes.
So is that for our pleasure,
yeah.
James?
Yeah. And I thought
Thank
I
you.
have that in mind.
Can I just read what it says on the back?
If
now,
you
this
must.
is by Chris Moyles.
Yeah.
I've learned how to do great radio from listening to great radio. James Whale was one of the first broadcasters I noticed was great. One of the reasons for this is he tells you he's great. How genius is that?
Yeah. You know.
Have you ever suffered from self-doubt or anything like that?
No. All through my school life I was. I mean, I was absolutely rubbish at school. And they said, you've got to go along and see if we can get you in the army or the police force or the fire service. And I'm not being disrespectful to any of those occupations, but that's what they used to send you to do. And I wasn't very good at that sort of thing either. I'd like to have been a soldier, but I at the time I wasn't really...
So you're making up for lost time, do you think? Because
Yeah.
you really are outspoken. You really are, you believe in what you say, and you do upset a lot of people,
No,
don't
I
you?
don't think I ever upset people.
please.
Do you think I upset people? Do I upset people?
Yes.
How did
okay.
you choose
Well,
Sorry.
years
don't
and
want
years
to
ago on
upset
the James
you.
Whale show and all
Yeah.
of that, I used to watch it and think
Yeah.
you were a real
But you're-
sexist pig, actually.
Well, do you mean when Linda was on?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I see, when
And I
Linda
used
was
to phone
on.
up and go, how can you be on that